Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Insurance Town. I'm the Mayor, Heath Sheeran, and the host of this podcast. And I just want to say thank you guys. I am so lucky every single day that I get to do what I love. And you hear me a lot if you pay attention to any of my content on LinkedIn or Facebook or any kind of social media, YouTube, whatever it might be. I say it a lot that if you do what you love, you never have to work another day in your life. And I am a living embodiment of that. And I'm so thankful. I say that not as a flex. I say that not as someone bragging or anything like that. I just say that because God's really blessed me in that opportunity to be able to do that. And I have been in the insurance industry for 20 plus years. And it's crazy to me to look up and realize, man, I have put in over half of my life in this industry. And I was born into this industry, being second generation, but now to get to be in this place in my life in my mid 40s, and I get to do the things I'm doing right now, all because of you guys, all because of people who believed in me and who support me in so many different ways. And several of those people I want to give a shout out to right now because they've been with me from the jump, and that's my sponsors. I want to stop real quick and just say, if you haven't had an opportunity to take a look at my sponsors, please do that, not because I get paid to say it, but because I only partner up with people that I believe in. And I've had a relationship with Smart Choice going back, almost 20 years, almost the entirety of my career. And I got to meet people like Paul and Ashley and Andrew and some of the people that I've known, Kim Carney, the people that I've gotten to know through the years because they just are great people and they support the industry. And so when I started my podcast and they wanted to come alongside me, that meant the world to me, and it's no wonder that they are the fastest growing agency network, hands down, with 10,000 agencies across the country using them. It's just unbelievable. And I know it's more than that now. And when you've got 11 billion in written premium and continuing to grow, even in these uncertain markets, even in the hard market, the soft market, it doesn't matter what market. They've been through them all, and they go back to like 1989 or 1990, something like that. It's ridiculous, the market cycles they've been through, and they still stand strong for you, the independent agent, whether you need one or two markets or whether you need a whole slew of markets. If you're starting out brand new and green or you've been around for a while, you don't have to bring your whole book to them. You can just bring what you want. Like if you want to just say, hey, I'm going to keep my book here with these 7 or 8 markets I've already got. I just need access to this market. You can do that. If you need access to some E&S brokers, if you need contracts for this or that, go for it. And they help you by giving you a higher commission. They help you by lowering your premium thresholds. There's so many things they do for you. And they want to roll up their sleeves and help you to grow. And they want to be that partner, not an equity partner, but that partner that runs alongside you and cheers you on and helps you out. Also, I've been with Toga and his team at Canopy Connect from jump for both our companies. I can remember when Toga was starting out his company back in 2020, and I was getting started with Insurance Town, and we just had some phenomenal conversations, and we were like, man, let's help each other out. Let's do this together. And watching them grow and watching them succeed and seeing Toga's dream come to life has been just so much fun for me as his friend. And I love the guy dearly, and I love the team he's built, and I love what he's doing. And to hear agencies like you that can reach out to me and say, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful that I signed up for Canopy Connect because it's a game changer. Go to usecanopy.com/Heath and check them out if you haven't already. They do the intake forms. They help you with building out a beautiful process to help your prospects go from start to finish in a seamless way that saves that back and forth. I had a great conversation several weeks back with Nick, and we brought up a good point on the Vertifor podcast, obviously, that was like, asking those back and forth questions and what's your VIN number, what's your address, that is not building rapport. And so building rapport is talking about your mama and them, getting in to know them and asking about little Sally's ballet recital or Timmy's football game or basketball game or soccer game, whatever it might be, asking what's going on in their lives. That's building rapport. That is doing the things that matter in this industry. And so, or to your clients. So, and Canopy Connect can help you to do that just by almost a click of a button. But now it's, so many other things they can do with with lost runs, vehicle lists. They can get you driver lists. They can get you deck pages, you name it. Use canopy.com/Heath. And then also my friends over at Old School Marketing. I love working with Rusty and his team there. Go to oldeschoolmarketing.com. They do direct mailers. And I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, direct mailers are coming back. People love getting that thing. And people trust snail mail nowadays almost more than they do social media, more than they do robocalls or cold calls or whatnot. When they get that postcard, especially a handwritten note in the mail, which is what Old School Marketing specializes in, they're going to open that and it's going to be phenomenal. Go to oldeschoolmarketing.com and tell them the mayor sent you. Now today, if you hit play on this, you saw probably what this one was about. And so I'm thankful that you did check this one out because in my career, and again, I pinch myself because I get this opportunity to do what I love, and I get to go to a lot of conferences. I get to speak at a lot of conferences, moderate panels, MC, whatever it might be. And a lot of you reach out in my LinkedIn, or they call me or text me if you're my friend out there, and they'll say, man, I don't know how you do it or what you do. And, tell me about this conference. I may go next year. Tell me what you learned about this one. But lately, I've gotten a lot of conversations and feedback and people wanting to know more about FutureFest that just happened in Santa Monica, California. And I wanted to talk to you about it because when I first saw this, when they reached out to me, oh gosh, it feels like it's almost a year ago, but maybe 6 or 8 months ago, when they reached out to me about FutureFest to be a part of this, and they were telling me the vision and the dream and what they were doing. They were asking me if I could help them find other speakers to be involved. And they wanted some feedback on what they were thinking about doing. I immediately was all in. Like, it didn't take a whole lot, because what they were putting down, I was picking up and I was enjoying what they were saying. And so what does that mean, Heath? Like, what does that look like? First of all, when you walked up to this conference, you knew something was different. It wasn't your typical conference. And I'll say that because, first of all, it's outdoor. It was on the Santa Monica Pier. And if you have not ever heard of that or don't know what it is, if you're similar to me, I'd heard of it, but I'd never really wrapped my arms around it because I'm from the South. And this was a West Coast thing out in LA, out at Santa Monica, Venice Beach, that whole area. I was like, I've never been out there before. I don't know what that looks like. So I immediately Googled it, and I was like, oh, now this is cool. And the Santa Monica Pier is obviously right there on the water, and there's a big Ferris wheel out there. There's a little kids park out there. There's a family park. There's beaches right there. There's shops. There's restaurants, great bars, great atmosphere, the whole nine. And so when you walk up to that, historical, famous pier, the Santa Monica Pier, it just hits different. It just feels different. And so for me, first of all, walking up to that and seeing in bright pink everywhere, FutureFest, and there's these signs going in, and I walk through and there's not a hotel lobby. It's not inside of a conference room. It's not indoors at all. Like, everything was out on this pier, and they had half of the pier blocked off for FutureFest. And so you go through, and first of all, there's staff everywhere, from FutureFest that had the shirts on and had the things. And, they have a company called Key Media that put this on. And that is probably one of the best event teams I've ever seen or been a part of or worked with from start to finish as a speaker and as a attendee for that matter, because they treat you so well from jump. And it was very organized and very put together, and you walk through and you get your name badge and everything. But you walk through, and once you get through that registration, and it's like you step into this whole other world. And, my wife and I just this week dropped off, I'm in the mid-July, dropped off our middle daughter at summer camp for 2 weeks, which is a sad day in itself if you ever drop your kid off at camp. Because it's exciting time for them because they get to go and do all the things and the horseback riding and the boating and all the camp activities you get to do. And, me and my wife always joke, I wish they had an adult adult camp like that where you could go and do the rope swings and swim in the lake and go ride jet skis and go horseback riding and all the things, zip lining, you name it. Wish we could do that for adults. Well, I say all that to say when you walked through the doors here, it was like going to camp for an adult. I mean, it was, you walk through, first of all, there's a DJ that's just having a ball up there. And this guy was a great DJ and a great MC. He's got great music blasting. And you look all around the pier and you see, just for Insurance Fest, not open to the public, private for just the insurance business FutureFest attendees, you had putt-putt. You had putt-putt going on. You had ping pong tables of people playing ping pong. You had bago going on, or if you might call it cornhole. You had cornhole people, like people playing cornhole. I can't talk. I'm so excited. Then you had a section over here that had a coffee bar going on, where you could go and order any kind of drink you wanted, iced or hot. You had yoga mats going on. There was like yogis out there with people in the insurance industry literally doing a yoga class right there on the pier. And such a zen moment on that part right there. There was freaking massage tables, like 3 or 4 of them, where you had people that, if you're in the insurance industry for any period of time, you know there's a lot of stress that's going on in the insurance industry, especially right now. And you had people, you just hear the groans of like, oh, that feels so good over the music. I guess it was amazing. And that's not it, man. And then you see wine tastings. They had a cocktail class going on where they teach you how to make cocktails, and they had yard games going on galore. It was unreal. I'm just talking to the left when you walk in. I mean, that was just that part of it. And let me say, none of that was like you get one ticket for this and one ticket for that. No, as soon as you walk in, your ticket to FutureFest got you access to all of that. And it wasn't something that like you walked in and it was just there and it was cute and like, oh, great idea. No, there was people that were laughing and yucking it up and having a good time and playing the ping pong and doing the putt-putt. And it wasn't just like one little like hole that was like, strip of grass and like a little hole at the end, like you'd buy at, Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever. No, this was like a full-on putt-putt course, like I think 6 holes or whatever. And maybe 9. Don't get me wrong. I mean, don't quote me on that, but it was so cool to see people just laughing and having fun and doing that. And you keep walking through here, and then you look up and you're like, oh my gosh, there's vendors that are here outside on the pier, and you had some great vendors out there that you'd walk through, and they were set up and they were having a great time talking to the attendees, and they had some great swag and giveaways. I'm telling you guys, I'm just talking about like my first glance, my first 30 seconds of looking around here. I was just like in a candy store. Like, this is adult camp. Like, this is adult summer camp. What is going on here? And I was in heaven. I was loving it. And again, I am just in the first glance of what's going on. And so as you keep going, like you scan the room or the boardwalk, and then there's this huge stage. Like, I'm talking beautiful stage with couches and chairs and huge monitors right here on the pier. And like I said, there's a DJ up there. And at this point, he had music playing, but he was also having like some fun doing like some like different games. I think it was playing like some music bingo, and he was asking questions and like having audience engagement and crowd participation going on. And just this guy knew how to work a conference, apparently. Like, he was like a professional, solid DJ, not just, Fred from accounting that happens to be doing DJ on the side. No, this dude was legit. No offense to Fred from accounting if I offended you. But dude, it was cool to see. And like theater style, like it was just a cool thing. And then, there's 4 other stages that you had set up, in these, covered areas that were all surrounding the pier. So any given time, you would look over and you could hear someone on this stage talking at the same time as this person's talking, and you got the main stage DJ going on. But the way they had it spread out, had it going on, no speaker session interrupted another. It was just set up like perfectly. And then as you keep going, right in the middle of all of the other stages, there's a bar. What insurance conference doesn't have a little bit of drinking and libations going on in a good way? I'm not saying it was irresponsibly by any means, but it's just cool to see. Just like people just standing around talking and getting to know each other and networking. And and when I say people, I think they confirmed 700 attendees for the very first time they've ever done this. And so you got to see people just talking and having a good time. And for me, I don't know about you, but I'm one of these people that, I could be dead dog tired from traveling all day. And I'd done that day. I traveled all day, 4-hour flight from Little Rock to Los Angeles, and all of the things that go with flying and traveling and Ubering and planes, trains, and automobiles. And I was worn out, tired, but I went to the registration, and I'm one of these people that when I get surrounded by people, I'm energized immediately. The more chaos, the more things going on, my ADHD kicks in and I just start getting jacked. And I'm excited, I'm energized, and just having a ball, man. Talking to people. And again, for the mayor, for a guy who loves networking, this is like kid in a candy store. And so I just wanted to paint the picture for you. And it may have been too long of a painted picture, but I just wanted you to understand like what I was walking into, what you would get to walk into if you would have been there. If you were there, you can amen, and you're like shaking your head like, yeah, exactly. It hit different. It wasn't your average conference. And I'm not knocking any other conference. I love the PIA conferences and the Big I conferences, and I love going to ITC, and I love going out to the ABU conferences. I love those. Those are all phenomenal. This one was just different. And, they marketed themselves as the world's largest insurance festival, which I thought was brilliant marketing. So, side note there, because it really was. Like, this was different. It was a festival, not a conference. And so, again, then they had little seating areas, like, I say little, but like seating areas with like beautiful white couches with chairs and lamps. And it felt like you were in somebody's living room. And they had these little stations set up all along the pier. And you saw people talking and visiting and getting to know each other. And you could just feel the energy. And it wasn't manufactured. It wasn't pumped in. It was like legit energy because of the atmosphere they built. And there was a little speaker lounge where I got to go and visit with other speakers, and they had food there and everything else. And it was just cool, man. And again, more vendors around the other side of the pier with all the stages and the things going on. And so, again, kid in a candy store, I got to go around from booth to booth and talk to people. They were there the entire time. Like, there wasn't like 1 hour to go see these vendors. No, they were open. They were talking. They were involved and doing things and dancing and laughing and high-fiving. And it just super cool. So just giving you just the ambiance of what it was. I had to kind of share that part of it first. And so, that first day, man, there was some really, really cool stuff going on. And the speakers that they had and the different stage sessions that they had were not your typical stage sessions. They weren't your typical speakers. They had, panel discussions for attracting young talent, for M&A. They had some really cool stuff on M&A. They had stuff on Gen AI. They had stuff on AI. They had stuff on cybersecurity, and you name it. They had some really cool stuff just that very first day. And again, all these are going on simultaneously. All these things are going, so you could walk from one to one and listen, or you could step into one and listen. They had a session or two on AI that were just phenomenal. One of my one of my good friends, and Christopher Franklin. If you haven't heard Chris Franklin speak, man, this guy knows technology. This guy knows AI. This guy knows, he's got his finger on the pulse of so many things, and got to hear him speak. You got to hear like Garrett Droege. You got to hear some just phenomenal people that know about what's going on in our industry. And so you got to hear about hiring, you got to hear about M&A, you got to hear about cybersecurity, you got to hear about how to deploy certain things within your industry, within our industry, in your agency or in your carrier. And that was the thing. Again, I'm squirreling this out, so hopefully you can follow me on this. The content that they had, or they asked us to create as speakers, were not aimed at agencies alone. You know, I hear that a lot from these events that I go to. A lot of the carriers and the MGAs and the vendors that go, man, it's great for them because they get to learn about what's going on in agency, but they're like, man, I wish that there'd be more conferences that had things directed at me, you know, the carrier or the MGA. Well, this had that, you know, a lot of content aimed at MGAs, a lot of content aimed at carriers, a lot of stuff aimed at other tech vendors to say, here's how to do this, here's how to do that. And so they had sessions for women only. They had women in insurance lounge where you had people up on stage that were talking about what's going on as a female in this industry, as a female entrepreneur in this industry, and you know how to lead with that. There were several sessions on leadership in general from some phenomenal people that were CEOs of their company or that were top leaders in large companies. And I absolutely loved it and thought it was super cool. And you know, I got to go through and check out a lot of these things. And then on the first night, there was a phenomenal event that changed the game for this. I mean, it was already a phenomenal event, and everything was going well by day, and everybody loved it. And then that night, the first night, they had Yachtly Crew live in concert. And you know, when I hear yacht rock, I'm like, whatever. But when you get out there and you hear Yachtly Crew live concert, I mean, there was people, obviously everyone from the conference was there and just having a ball and jumping up and down. It was like being in a piano bar, but it was a concert, and like people were singing along and just having a ball with the energy they brought, hopping around, dancing, singing along. Oh, so cool. And then you look up, and I was looking behind me as I was headed somewhere, and you see people lined around the outside of our little fenced off area of just the general public listening. People on the beach were stopped, you know, on the beach listening and dancing and having a good time just because the Yachtly Crew is so good. If you've never heard them or you have an opportunity to hire a band for your event, Yachtly Crew is so good. So that brought a whole nother level of atmosphere. And you see the crew all in their little, you know, they had these little captain's hats on, and you could tell they were having a ball too, to see the crew and the team at Insurance Business having a good time, mingling and getting to know people, not just having to work, but actually getting to have a good time. That was fun for me. I really enjoyed that. And so that was, you know, that was just day one, man. You know, as I go through here, like day two, which, you know, I got to speak on day two, it was a lot of the same. You know, they had some different things going on, but it was a lot of the same. When you show up on day two, again, there's all of these, you know, coffee bars and food going on. And there's all of it, again, you get with your ticket when you get to FutureFest. So you just walk up anytime and order a coffee, and order, like, they had these beautiful food carts that would be there set up with like fresh fruit that you could order and get. Again, comes with your ticket. And one of my favorite things, again, as a Southern boy, self-proclaimed fat kid, I got to have an ice cream truck basically walking around at all times, giving away anything you'd get in an ice cream truck, you know, popsicles and ice cream cups and bomb pops and ice cream sandwiches, all right there in these little cute little carts walking around with ice cream. Oh, And again, while I'm on food, they had this churro guy. I never had a churro like this in my life. Like, hands down, best churro ever. And for those who know me, like, oh, those aren't gluten free. I was out in California, everything's gluten free. But even if it wasn't, I had to have a churro. This thing was phenomenal. So had to bring that up. But the food was great. The vendors were great. The speaker sessions were phenomenal. I mean, this thing was hands down just a different conference. And people that ask me about it and like they've wanted to know, I had to put this out on a recording. I won't keep you too much longer. I know I've already been going for like 20 minutes here, but maybe 30. I don't know. But I just wanted you to know that what we got into. And I will say, part of the thing that was phenomenal for me, and if you'll just, it's my podcast, so I can do this, but if you'll just indulge me just for a minute, one of the special things for me about this conference was getting to do this one and be there with actually two or three, four or five, but two of my best friends in this industry. And Casey Nelson was there with me. Chris Franklin was there with me. Tony Kanyas was there. He came out to see me and hang out. And the amount of people that came out to support me and said, "Hey, I came to this conference just to hear you speak." Gosh, you don't know what that means to me. You have no clue what that means to me. And so for me to get to be a part of that and be there with that and to hang out with my buddies in Santa Monica, I mean, it's crazy to see Christopher Franklin from Nebraska and Casey Nelson, coming with Texas and me in Arkansas, and these people we're out on the West Coast just having a time of our lives. Tony Kanyas coming out there, and just the people that I got to rub elbows and all the new people that I met. I feel like, again, it was adult summer camp. So you walk away with these new friendships that hopefully you'll have for life. And, I got to meet some of these people and just really have meaningful conversations because, again, it wasn't your typical conference. I was able to sit down for 20 and 30 minutes at a time, uninterrupted, and have these conversations that built lifelong friendships, I hope, with people that I would never met before anywhere else. And it really changed the game for me. And it really just, it set forth new friendships, new relationships, and a new way of thinking for me. And it's going to open up a lot of doors for me from a networking standpoint and from a relationship standpoint that I'm so thankful for. And so for my friends at Insurance Business and at Key Media that put this on, let me just say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for putting this on. And I look forward to 2026. And I'm already on the wait list for next year. I can't wait to go. Whether I'm back as a speaker or not, I don't know, but I will definitely be there as an attendee. There's no way I am missing out on that. And so what I would say to you is go to insurance.myfuturefest.com and get on the wait list for 2026. Make sure that you are there, whether you're going as a vendor, as an agent, as a MGA, as just an attendee in general. I don't care. I am a strong supporter of this conference just because even if you just do it the one time to knock it off of a bucket list, so to speak, you should definitely be there for that because the atmosphere was phenomenal. The backdrop was phenomenal. The speakers were phenomenal. Insurance Business just does a great job. And if you're not familiar with Insurance Business, go check out Insurance Business. They are a global powerhouse in our industry. And this one was put on by the North America team. And again, they do a great job putting out phenomenal content. They do so much. I can't even do it justice what all they do. So you got to check that out. Connect with them on LinkedIn. Connect with them on their social medias. Connect with them at their website. And make sure you get on that wait list for next year. If anybody wants to talk any more about this or hear more about my session or any of the other sessions, please reach out to me. My cell phone number is 501-908-2395. Don't spam me. But if you want to, shoot me a text. If I don't answer the phone, because I usually don't answer the phone if it's a number that I don't recognize. But if I don't answer, shoot me a text and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I want to talk to you about something, whatever it might be. and I would love to connect with you. Find me on LinkedIn, and let's talk. I would love to share more about it because I love this event. And if you want to talk about any other events I'm going to, I'm going to be traveling a lot over the next 6 or 8 weeks at different events I'm speaking at. I would love to meet you. If you're going to be at any of those events, let me know. I will be doing that. I'll post all the events that I'll be at. If you're going to be there, please connect with me. Let me know. I love when I post on LinkedIn at what events I'm going to be at, and then I get messages from you, or I get text messages from you, or I get an email from you that says, "Hey, I'll be there. Let's meet up and let's grab." I love that. I love that. So I want to connect with you. All right. I think it's been officially 30 minutes. So I'm going to let you guys go. But I love you. I love you so much, my audience. And it's hard not to get emotional because it's been 5 years that we've been doing this together. All right, I'm getting emotional, so I'm about to go. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for supporting me. I love you guys.